MLB fans, when you need tickets to catch your favorite team live all season long, Ticketmaster's got them. As the world's largest ticket marketplace, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of seats available and at competitive prices, so you never have to worry about missing a game. Take yourself out to the ballpark this season and get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/MLB. That's Ticketmaster.com/MLB.
Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau.
I like a certain je ne sais quoi.
While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
On Sports Center all night.
We take you around the bigs, including Joey Votto making his season debut with the Reds sniffing first place.
The very first pitch to Joey Votto in his second at bat, and he launches it.
One of the NBA's great trios might be splitting up.
He's been a spectacular player for us. We would not have these championships without his involvement.
More insight on the pending Bradley Beal trade.
Matt Ishbia, I get it. You walked in the door. You want to make a big splash. Phoenix has never won a championship. You just ensured they're not going to win one in the next 5 years. You just ensured that.
And top-ranked Wake Forest tested by the Bayou Bengals at the College World Series.
1-2. Got one to hit. He puts it in the left field. Corona did not get a good jump, but he's winding in, and he will score.
This is Sports Center all night. Here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. If there was one lesson that was, well, kind of hammered home to Nuke LaLoosh, Bull Durham, and one that Andy had to be reminded of, you don't mess with a win streak. And that was the concern Monday in Cincinnati. Reds hosting the Rockies. Reds riding an 8-game win streak. But here's Joey Votto, finally cleared to return to the Reds lineup 10 months to the day after surgery on his left biceps and rotator cuff. And he steps into the lineup of a team with an 8-game win streak. Admittedly, a bit of pregame trepidation about potentially messing that up, but he seemed to do okay.
The very first pitch to Joey Votto in his second at bat, and he launches it way out of here to right. Third home run of the game, and welcome back, Joey Votto.
Votto leading off the fifth with a home run. Then, after Colorado would take the lead in the top of the sixth, Votto back at the dish in the bottom of the sixth.
The 1-0 pitch. Swinging a line drive, base hit into center field. One runs home. Here comes De La Cruz. He will score, and Joey Votto puts the Reds on top.
Welcome back, big boy. Welcome back.
Votto with the go-ahead RBI single in the sixth, and that would hold until the ninth.
Swinging a ground ball to short. Up with it, De La Cruz. The play to first, and that's it. Reds win it 5-4, make it 9 straight for the Redlegs.
700 WLW, 5-4 the final, 9 straight wins, longest active streak in baseball, longest win streak for the Reds since a 10-game win streak in 2012. Joey Votto, 2 for 3 with that home run, also walked, had 3 RBI in his season debut. 4th time that he has hit a home run over the course of his career in his season debut.
I was so concerned after 10 months off, having a pretty major surgery for my shoulder, come back and interrupt the momentum of this hot Reds team. And, we have a winning streak going, and here I am stepping in, and I need to keep up. So, I'm glad I was able to help today.
You make them better, but in order to do that, you have to make them better. So how did you process that? Understanding what is happening and not wanting to screw it up.
Yeah, if I'm most honest, it's there's this feeling of urgency, panic, of not inadequacy, but just this feeling of like I have to do my very, very best to keep up with these guys. And the saying is, don't mess with the winning streak.
Yeah.
And I was possibly going to mess with the winning streak. And so my attitude was like, dude, you're going to put this uniform on today. And if you screw it up, you're out of the family sort of thing. So I don't know. I just want to keep up with these young guys.
That said, when you spank one into the seats in the bottom of the fifth, I mean, as you round the bases, you've done this before, but I imagine there had to be some of that felt brand new. Did it not?
It felt brand new. It felt brand new. When I rounded third base, there was a highlight there of me not high-fiving the third base coach. I was angry he hadn't been texting me. He's so friendly when I'm in uniform playing for the team. And I got to third base, and I was like, I'm not giving you a high five. You haven't even acknowledged my existence for the past half year. But it's such a interesting experience because I've been pretty healthy throughout my career, and for me to come back after this surgery, there's doubts, and we all experience that in life, and this is an example of coming back from those doubts. So it's a great experience for me for sure.
Joey Votto with our Scott Van Pelt after the Reds' 9th consecutive win. Votto with his 15th career homer against the Rockies, breaking a tie with Ken Griffey Jr. for the second most by a Reds player against Colorado. Reds get their 9th straight win. Rockies suffer a 6th consecutive loss. So the Reds get their 9th straight. As for the Red Sox,
0-2 is ripped on a ground into right field, a base hit. Casas scores. Here comes Wong. Around third comes Refsnyder. He is waved home. The throw is dropped by Julien. It's a bases clearing triple for Alex Verdugo, and the Red Sox lead it 6-3.
WEEI 93.7 FM. It will be a 9-3 win for the Red Sox as they extend their win streak to 5 straight, second longest win streak of the season for them. They had an 8-game streak at the end of April and beginning of May. 9 runs for Boston in their 9-3 win. They scored 8 of the 9 runs with 2 outs. 29 of the 34 runs scored over their last 4 games have come with 2 outs. Oh, by the way, Alex Cora becomes the 9th manager in Red Sox history to reach 400 career wins. From 400 career wins to hitting 400.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Here's a swing at a line drive. Fair ball down the left field line. He's done it again. He is incredible. 2 runs are going to score. The Marlins lead 9-0. Luis Ariz, for the 3rd time in 16 days, just a little over 2 weeks, has his 3rd 5-hit game.
940 WINZ. Luis Ariz, 5 for 5, all 5 singles. As you heard, 3rd 5-hit game of the season, all in the month of June. 3rd game this season with 5 hits, season batting average back up to 400 through 73 games, 67 games played, and he's hitting 400. Marlins, by the way, get an 11-0 win over the Blue Jays. After the game,
Luis, your 3rd 5-hit game of the year. You're the first player to 100 hits, and you're back at 400. Can you even believe what you've been able to accomplish this year?
I mean, I believe myself, and then I trust myself, and then I just come here and play hard. And then, look this, we got a really good team. And then I want to say thanks, God, for God 5 for 5 tonight. And then I want to say thanks to the fans to support us. And then let's go Fitch.
Speaking of those fans, after your 5th hit, they're on their feet, giving you a standing O. They're cheering MVP. What does their support mean to you?
My heart was stopped for a little bit. I was so emotional when I got at bat. And then I said, okay, I got to do something good. And then I got my big hit to the left field line. And I want to say thanks to those fans. And I love you to those fans. Thanks for supporting me.
Let's talk about your team. 5th consecutive win. You guys are now 11 games above 500. How much fun are you having with this group?
I mean, this is my family, my team. We play like a team. We just do the little things. We play different. We got really good relievers. We got really good starting. We got everything. And then now everybody trusts this thing, and I trust this thing. And then let's go fish.
Luis Arise with Bally Sports Florida. Second 5-hit game in the last 3 games for him. 11 hits over the last 3 games. Most in a 3-game span in Marlins history. He now has 102 hits on the season, and he's hitting 400. Marlins, by the way, 11 games over 500 for the first time since finishing the 2009 season, a dozen games over 500 to get the 11-0 win over Toronto. Largest shutout win since beating the Brewers 16-0 in June of 2019. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. We had baseball around the big leagues. We also had some great action coming out of Omaha. Great action unless your team's on the wrong side of the outcome, and a double elimination tournament. Monday, marquee matchup was number 1 Wake Forest, number 5 LSU. The only 2 teams that have been ranked number 1 this entire season, and this one would be tied 2-2 in the 8th. But LSU was threatening.
Third base feels it coming home, and he can't get it out of his glove. Wow, the scoop is made. What a tag! Play. Bennett Lee scooped it after Wilkin couldn't get it out of his glove. What a play by the catcher.
Carl Ravitch on ESPN. Bennett Lee with the defensive gem there. That was in the top of the 8th inning. He would bat in the bottom of the 8th inning.
1-2. Got one to hit. He puts it in the left field. Corona did not get a good jump, but he's winding in, and he will score. RBI for Bennett Lee. It's 3-2 Wake Forest.
And 3-2 would be your final. Wake Forest, the 5th number 1 national seed to win its first 2 games at the Men's College World Series, the first since Oregon State in 2017. 3 of the previous 4 reaching the championship game. Only Miami, though, in 1999, actually won the title. Wake Forest 7-0 in this year's tournament. They're the only team without a loss. The last national champion to go undefeated in the postseason was UCLA a decade ago, 2013. Wake Forest edges out LSU. Our ACC network analysts, Mike Rooney, Danny Graves.
An incredible atmosphere. I mean, it was tense. It was electric. And we talk about Wake Forest being the most complete team in the country. They needed all of that tonight. You know, the games, the quality of games you got to win in Omaha, it's really been remarkable, and Wake Forest been up for the challenge twice so far.
I just wish they wouldn't wait so long to score them runs, because that just drives me like my anxiety level, dude. But also it's a team you never can count out.
For Hartle, it wasn't his best start of the year, but just to stand up and compete against LSU and keep the game. When Hartle leaves the game, it's a winnable game, and that's the job.
Isn't that scary about Wake Forest, though? We didn't see the best from Relauder. Yeah. We didn't see the best today either from starting pitching.
Yeah.
And yet they find a way to win.
I should say it's not shocking because they're that good, but it's like, what else can they go out there and show us? It's been amazing to see. You have your stuff that doesn't get everybody out. You still strike out 9. You walk forward, but you only give up 2 runs. And he broke the record in front of Mike Buddy today. Yeah. Mike Buddy was in attendance.
When Brock Wilken was a freshman, things weren't this glorious for Wake Forest baseball, right? They're trying to find themselves.
They were trying to find a culture. Coach Walter was very candid about it.
And when you have a special kid like that who is willing to stand up as a freshman and say, hey, we're done with this. Like, we're going to different places. And, I mean, this roster, it is so on point. I mean, it's amazing how they built this club. They are so complete.
And Wake Forest comes through, scoring 2 runs in the 6th inning. They had 3 base runners in the first 5 innings total. In the 6th inning, they had 1 hit, 4 walks, and a hit batsman. And they rally and get the 3-2 win over LSU. Monday's earlier matchup was an elimination game between Tennessee and Stanford.
Panthers 2-2 to Scott. He's down and goes through the wickets. Burke to the plate, and he scores. 6-4 balls.
Tennessee trailed 4-0 through 4 innings, but they rally and get the win, matching their largest comeback win in a College World Series game in school history. It was set in 1951. They match it on Monday, rallying from 4-0 down to win 6-4. Tennessee eliminates Stanford. Third win this season after trailing by 4 runs. All 3 have come in games started by Chase Dollander, and they get the win.
Well, I think offensively early on, Quinn Matthews was getting the Tennessee hitters out by using the breaking pitch. Tennessee only had 3 hits in the first 4 innings. In the 5th inning, that's when the adjustment was made. They were sitting on that curveball. They got 6 hits in that inning, and that was the inning that turned the tide for Tennessee Volunteer offense. They were locked into that curveball. It was an opportunity for Tennessee to do what no other team all year long was to do, was to swing and make contact on the curveball.
Does that come from other batters? Does that come from Vitello, somebody saying, giving a message? What's that like?
The thing with Tennessee is they're no stranger to being down 4 runs. First 2 games of the Super Regional, they were down 4-0.
Yeah.
Lost the first one, won the second. They're down 4-0 in this game, and they don't panic. And I think that's the main thing. You just keep the line running. What, they have 6 singles in that 1 inning to come back? I mean, incredible.
Stanford winds up losing the game. They're eliminated from the College World Series. 5th straight loss in the Men's College World Series, longest losing streak in school history. Tennessee advances. They face LSU in an elimination game on Tuesday. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. LSU, Tennessee, and the winner of that game will then on Wednesday face Wake Forest and need to beat Wake twice to reach the College World Series finals. Opting out, but opting for elsewhere? That's next. Sports Center All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Tuesday, the Suns have made the first big offseason move in the NBA. Who will be the next star on the move? I'm going to give you my answer. Keyshawn J. Willem X, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Sports Center All Night on ESPN Radio.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember my breaking point was when I would try to make one little change and my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was easily able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over. With the drag and drop theme editor, we don't need to hire a developer to do any coding. What's amazing is that each theme is automatically optimized on mobile. It's incredible. It looks even better on the phone. We really like adventure. We would not be able to go on the road without a platform that we can rely on. What are you waiting for? Start your free trial with Shopify today.
From templates that make site design simple to customizations that let you grow at your pace, this is your possibility powered by Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/play. That's shopify.com/play. Go to shopify.com/play to take your business to the next level today.
With summer in full swing, now's the perfect time to head to the ballpark. Score great deals on great seats from our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Every crack of the bat, every diving catch, every heart-pounding play. Experience it live, in person, from the first pitch to the final inning. Vivid Seats has a huge selection of MLB tickets, and they're the only ticket company that rewards your purchases. For the best selection of 2023, shop now. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live. This basketball season has been amazing, and Brian Windhorst has been there each week giving you all the news and scoops throughout the league. But with the season winding down, Brian Windhorst and Hoop Collective, along with Granger, are bringing you a one-of-a-kind episode highlighting the best moments of the year. From buzzer beaters to all-star performances, the podcast will cover it all. So be sure to listen to Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective, presented by Granger, wherever you get your podcasts. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Granger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know YouTube TV is more than cable for less than cable? That's right. YouTube TV has no long-term contracts or hidden fees, and it even lets you catch up to the live game with key plays. With the lineup of over 100 channels, you can watch live TV like cable. Signing up is simple. Get started in minutes. So what are you waiting for? Try it free today at youtube.com/NBA23. New users only. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Tuesday on Canty and Carlin, now that the Suns got Bradley Beal, can they really beat the Nuggets out west? Plus, what other dominoes are going to fall before the draft on Thursday? It's Tuesday, Canty and Carlin, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
With the 7th pick, the Denver Nuggets select Jamal Murray.
With the 41st pick, the Denver Nuggets select Nikola Jokic.
So, who's next?
The number 1 pick in the 2023 NBA draft goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
The 2023 NBA Draft, Thursday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night presented by Progressive Insurance.
We really want Draymond back. What he means to this organization, this team, in terms of trying to win at the highest level, we feel like we have to have him.
You're never going to leave $28 million on the table to go out searching for a deal and be stranded at the altar here. I think it's just interesting if it's not Golden State, like who is it?
Steve Kerr has said it on record several times now. The Warriors aren't the Warriors competing for titles moving forward without Draymond Green. I just don't believe that Draymond and the Warriors will come to a breakup.
Warriors forward Draymond Green is declining his $27.5 million player option for next season and, as a result, will enter unrestricted free agency. The move, not entirely unexpected. He was expected to opt out, but he now can talk with the Warriors as well as explore sign-in trades as part of the free agency. ESPN insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
I think the opting out part, the declining the player option was just more procedural. It made sense financially to do that and now go back and negotiate a new deal with the Warriors. I talked to both Rich Paul, his agent today with Clutch Sports, and Mike Dunleavy Jr., the new GM in Golden State. Listen, these are two sides who very much want to get a deal done. Draymond and Rich Paul, they're not really posturing here, right, threatening that they're going to go somewhere else. There are great options out there for them. Teams with cap space like Detroit in his home state of Michigan, and then a bunch of other contenders who would need help from the Warriors in sign and trade scenarios. But I think there's certainly a desire on both sides to stay together. They want each other. I think Draymond Green, the idea of continuing with Steph Curry and with Klay Thompson and certainly Steve Kerr, I think it means the world to him.
Meanwhile, Mike Dunleavy Jr. had his introductory news conference as the team's new general manager.
We really want Draymond back. What he means to this organization, this team, in terms of trying to win at the highest level, we feel like we have to have him. So that's very important. Beyond that, yeah, I mean, I think a lot can be made of all the challenges that are coming our way, whether it be aging roster, the new CBA with some of the limitations there, anything else you can bring up. But we're aware of all those things, but we also feel like we're in a great place because we've got a competitive owner willing to spend and a group that's really tied in. It's got good synergy, good processes, good sound decision-making. So we feel confident we can navigate it.
Draymond Green is a four-time All-Star. He's been a cornerstone of the Warriors dynasty over the past decade after being drafted with the 35th overall pick in 2012. And if Green's not back, does that close the door on the dynasty? ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins.
Hell yeah, it's over. Look, Draymond Green is the most important piece outside of Steph Curry. And we heard Steve Kerr talk about it. Draymond Green is the heart and soul of the Warriors. The Warriors better do everything in their power to make sure that they get this contract done between Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors. Because if he walks, the dynasty is over. And I don't even think that the Warriors will win another championship in the next 10 years without Draymond Green. They have to have him on their roster. It's a must. He's more valuable than Clay, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, all those guys. Anybody but Steph Curry, Draymond Green is the next best thing on the Warriors.
So Draymond Green opts out, but ESPN insider Bobby Marks says, let's not pack his bags just yet.
I think this was, his only chance to go out in free agency. He's signed multiple extensions before. This is his last crack at the apple here. And if it's either with Golden State or with another team, I would say the likelihood in Golden State, their new GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr. in their press conference was adamant that Green is a priority for them. I think it's just a matter of kind of what the cost is going to be and what the length in a contract would be.
Draymond's value to Golden State might be more than any other team just because of organizational understanding and who he is to them. But that doesn't mean that the market might not say, you mean more to us than you mean to Golden State, and here's the bag to prove it. What kind of market will there be for him?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, if it's not a sign-in trade, you're looking at a lot of rebuilding teams when you look at certainly a team like his hometown Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, Orlando Magic, San Antonio Spurs. The list goes on. Indiana Pacers there. That is probably, somewhere maybe Draymond can get a little bit more money than in Golden State here. But as you said, the fit in one of those places is not what he has in Golden State right now.
Green, of course, punched Jordan Poole at training camp. Was something Steve Kerr said at the time was the biggest crisis during his tenure. Later said it left a cloud over the entire season. There's the belief, though, that all the parties will be able to move forward, and both Green and Poole could be on the team next season. Straight ahead, guess who was blindsided by a text from his son? That's next. Sports Center all night. It's ESPN Radio.
Greeny. I don't know exactly what the right thing to say is about Zion. At some point, you have to look at that and say, the ends are not justifying the means.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Every NBA draft has a sleeper that gets taken in the late first round. A year ago, Santa Clara had its first-round pick since Steve Nash. Late lottery pick Jalen Williams, who went to OKC and absolutely thrived. This year, the attention for a sleeper goes back to Santa Clara. Except for this year, the young man's name is Brandon Pajemski. He averaged just 1.9 points per game in Illinois as a freshman. He then transferred to Santa Clara. Well, guess what? He was the co-WCC Player of the Year. Did you know that, or did you think it was just Drew Timmy's award? This kid is NBA ready. At 6'5", he has the one thing that every team needs, the ability to shoot from the outside. He is elite with NBA range and has the moxie and confidence to pull it off at any point in time. Averaged almost 20 points per game this season for the Broncos. Besides his shooting ability, he is crafty. He has the ability to change speeds, change directions, and find his teammates and make them better. But maybe his best attribute is the fact that at 6'5", he has a willingness to come back and rebound the basketball. He led the West Coast Conference in rebounds this year at almost 9 per game as a guard. And oh, by the way, at the NBA Combine, measured out at a 39-inch vert. So if you're looking for a comp for Brandon Pajemski, how about this one? 2018 first-round pick, at pick number 17, Dante DiVincenzo. That's the comp for Brandon Pajemski. He's a guy that could fill in very nicely in the late first round on a team that's playoff ready and needs depth at the guard position.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
His performance was the greatest in the history of the NBA postseason. You don't get to choose the teams you play against. No one ever did. Did he play against any Hall of Famers? Well, I mean, he played against Kevin Durant. He played against LeBron. He played against Anthony Davis. They won 10 of 11 playoff games in a stretch to win the NBA championship. So I think if you're finding any flaws in Nikola Jokic or taking apart any of what he did, you're just trying to. I was there when Michael Jordan made a lot of his greatest runs. Jordan in the playoffs in 92, 93, no one's ever been better. But what Jokic has just done is completely unprecedented. For one player to lead the entire postseason in points, rebounds, and assists, it shouldn't be possible. If you're going to try and pick apart anything about Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, it's only because you're trying to. And I'm not exactly sure why you would try to. Let's just sit back and enjoy the greatness that we just witnessed, because it was epic.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod.
along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, you know, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
He's meant a lot to this franchise. He's a bit of a controversial player, perhaps in some corners around the league and certain things that have happened over the years. And he knows that. We know that. The good overwhelms the bad, is what I would say. And I think if he does come back, that he will be very important to our success, certainly going forward in the next few years.
Pleased to be joined now by NBA front office insider Bobby Marks. And Bobby, I want to start just with what I guess is my opinion about all this, that Draymond testing free agency for the first time was always just where I thought this was going to go. That was a widely held belief, was it not?
Oh, I totally agree with you, Scott. I think this was, his only chance to go out in free agency. He's signed multiple extensions before.
Right.
This is his last crack at the apple here. And if it's either with Golden State or with another team, I would say the likelihood in Golden State, their new GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr. in their press conference was adamant that Green is a priority for them. I think it's just a matter of kind of what the cost is going to be and what the length in a contract would be.
Bobby, I know that you share this opinion because we talked about it off air, that Draymond's value to Golden State might be more than any other team just because of organizational understanding and who he is to them. But that doesn't mean that the market might not say, you mean more to us than you mean to Golden State, and here's the bag to prove it. What kind of market will there be for him?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, if it's not a sign-in trade, you're looking at a lot of rebuilding teams when you look at certainly a team like his hometown Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, Orlando Magic, San Antonio Spurs. The list goes on, Indiana Pacers there. That is probably, somewhere maybe Draymond can get a little bit more money than in Golden State here. But as you said, the fit in one of those places is not what he has in Golden State right now.
Right.
SportsCenter All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
SportsCenter All Night presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter All Night.
Wake Forest stays unbeaten in the NCAA baseball tournament. LSU and Tennessee, meanwhile, now face each other in an elimination game on Tuesday on ESPN. Luis Ariz, another 5-hit game. He's hitting 400. Joey Votto, his first game of the season, winds up homering and driving in the go-ahead run. Meanwhile, off-seasons continue.
From Barkley's perspective, he's probably sitting here saying, you saw what I did last year. I was healthy, looked like my old self.
I feel like there's been some things out there that's been misleading. I came out public. I've been open about it. I said I want to be a Giant for life. It's all about respect.
Franchise tag is on Saquon Barkley. There's about a month left to come to a deal if that's what's going to happen in New York. ESPN insider Adam Schefter, where are we?
Where the two sides are today is not very far along. But the key is, where will they be a month from now at the July 17th deadline, on the day that the Giants have to sign Saquon Barkley to a long-term deal? That's the last day the two sides can get a deal done. And that is the week when people around the league would expect activity to heat up, when both sides would put on the full court press to try to get a deal done. But here's the issue. You have a player who is undisputably the most valuable player on that team, a team that already has paid Daniel Jones handsomely, that's paid its defensive tackle, Dexter Lawrence, handsomely, and it's not going to pay its running back, Saquon Barkley, anywhere close to what Daniel Jones or Dexter Lawrence is going to make this year. But Barkley's more valuable, but he plays a position that right now is depressed in terms of earning. Barkley is one of 3 unsigned franchise players that will go down to that July 17 deadline, along with Tony Pollard in Dallas and Josh Jacobs in Las Vegas. And so there'll be a few running backs that are on the clock 1 month from now.
And speaking of running backs, Dalvin Cook, free agent after his release from the Minnesota Vikings, and he was speaking on the Adam Schefter podcast.
It's going to be a big difference, man. Not just it being in my head anymore, just me going to just play football and being me. And, you know, like for people that's going through like a similar situation of like you should get your shoulder done or not, like it's always in the back of your head when you take any carry. Like when you get the ball, it's always in your head like my shoulder could possibly come out. So me getting it done, it's like now it's over. Like now I could be Dalvin Cook back to Florida State, Dalvin Cook, and just turn it loose, just be me. And just have fun, man. I'm just ready to go have fun.
Dalvin Cook speaking on the Adam Schefter podcast, saying he also has an interest in teaming up with DeAndre Hopkins for his next team. Cook played 6 seasons with the Vikings, turns 28 in August. Hopkins, 31. He's been assessing his options as well since his release from the Cardinals last month. Back to our Adam Schefter.
Look, he's coming off 4 straight Pro Bowls. He's a free agent for the first time in his career. Spoke to him today for my podcast this week, and he is looking to play for a team that he believes can win the Super Bowl. He had teams calling him as we were on the phone. So he has interest, he has activity, he has offers. The issue is, when is he going to decide? It doesn't sound like he's in a great rush. It sounds like it could go into the month of July. This is the quiet, dead period on the NFL calendar. So there's no need for a player like Dalvin Cook or DeAndre Hopkins, who are free agents right now, to rush into something when teams aren't even in the building. But I would expect that by the time training camp rolls around, Cook will have a team and he will have options.
See what happens this offseason with the free agent. SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio.
Adrian Wojnarowski reports that 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal will be traded to the Phoenix Suns.
There was much less of an appetiter on the league to take on a contract of a player who's going to be making $50, $53, $57 million in the last 3 years of his deal. That combined led them to Phoenix.
The deal is a game changer. It's like when Kevin Garnett went to Boston, it was a wrap. The minute that trade happened, it feels very similar to that.
Bradley Beal heading to Phoenix. And it's a move that caught Chris Paul a little off guard. Tells the New York Times he was surprised by the trade to Washington. Says he found out about it from a text he received from his son. Chris Paul also implying that Isaiah Thomas, yes, the former Pistons legend, who happens to be good friends with new Suns owner Matt Ishbia, that Isaiah Thomas was involved in the decision-making process. We'll hear more from Chris Paul later today. He'll be a guest here on ESPN Radio, 1:15 Eastern time this afternoon with Fitz and Harry. Chris Paul joining ESPN Radio. But that's the big trade that's coming down a couple days ahead of the NBA draft this week. ESPN insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
Chris Paul's waiting now for the Washington Wizards, their president, Michael Winger, their GM, Will Dawkins, to continue trade conversations around the league about expanding this 2-way deal with the Suns into a 3-way deal that perhaps could send Chris Paul to a contender. Is there a package out there, perhaps a couple expiring contracts, maybe some kind of a draft asset, or, is there a talented player, perhaps a younger player with more years and money left on his deal, that a team might want to move out to bring Chris Paul in for 1 year? He still has value, even at 38 years old. I think for a contending team, there's a few different scenarios, where a trade is possible. And so Washington's working on trying to see, again, can they get a deal with a third team and expand this trade and then call it into the league?
Bradley Beal, meanwhile, heading to Phoenix, creating yet another trio of marquee players with the Suns to the guys at PTI.
All right, Wilbon, where does the reported Bradley Beal trade place the Suns in the Western Conference?
Second. I'm saying that definitively. Based on one thing, Tony, I know this is preposterous at this early time of year. We don't even know the final roster construction. We don't know how that's going to turn out for a lot of teams. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, we don't know that. But one team took Denver to 6. One team, the Suns. And the Suns won 2 games They were a threat in the first two, even though they lost those two. They were not. Denver pulled away from them in games 5 and 6. But the Suns got 2 games off them. The Lakers didn't get 2 games off of them. Miami didn't get 2 games off them, even though Miami's in the East. The Timberwolves didn't get 2. The Suns got 2 games, and the Suns are going to be better because they're going to have more firepower. And maybe they're going to ultimately say to Denver, okay, you got Joker. No one can stop him. You can't stop this. You can't stop Durant, Booker, and Beal. Try it. Maybe, but I'll put them second behind Denver in the West based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Denver clearly ahead of them because I just watched the playoffs, and Denver is a really good team.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Durant. I thought he would make the Suns the best team in basketball. But part of that calculation on my part had Chris Paul on that team. Because I think you need a natural point guard. And I don't think that either Booker or Beal is a natural point guard. If they trade Ayton, they're going to be pretty small. And I don't know that that wins anymore. I don't know that just scoring a lot of points with small guys in 7-game series where you see the other team and it gets more physical, I don't know that you necessarily win that way. Beal has been hurt a lot in the past few years. Durant has been hurt a lot in the past few years. There's wild spending going on there, Mike, but I don't even think they can fill out a roster at the moment in Phoenix. I don't know what the composition of that team will be.
They got some guys on that roster who are going to have to play and play all season. So I hear your point, though. And let me just say this. If Chris Paul winds up where I think he's going to wind up on the Lakers playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis, you don't think that enhances the Lakers? I know both of us do. I certainly do. And I know Chris is 38 years old. I get all of that. But I'm like you. We're old and we believe in traditional basketball to some extent, which means 2 things: size and a point guard. And I'm not putting the Suns first. Not yet. I got to see some size at the very least.
Not at the top of the Western Conference, but right there. Earlier on ESPN Radio, Kellen Olson from 98.7 Arizona Sports.
I think that Denver is above, but I think that the Suns are right there with everyone else. You look at the talent level, you look at what Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are going to be able to do with cohesion, continuity. They're going to be able to build this thing out over the whole year. They're not going to have just that 8-game little sample size. They're going to experiment. They're going to figure things out through the course of the season. I think the Vogel change was exactly what they needed as well.
Can 3 players put a team within the top 2 in the Western Conference? Earlier on Freddie and Fitzsimmons, our Freddie Coleman.
Right now, they're no better than 5th in the West. I still have them behind Denver. I have them behind Golden State, no matter what happens with Draymond Green. To me, even though the Clippers have not been resolutely healthy, talent man-for-man-wise, team-wise, coach-wise, they're better than them. The Sacramento Kings right now, they're definitely going to come up. I take them over them. And even I take the Los Angeles Lakers. And here's why I would take them over those teams regarding the Phoenix Suns making that trade. I still want to see what Bradley Beal is going to do on the national stage. He doesn't have to worry about being the guy. That's something that's in his benefit. They're not bringing him into Phoenix to say, be the dude. But now you're bringing in Bradley Beal. It's one thing to play the Washington Wizards, leading the league in scoring back in 2020, having all that money on that max contract that he got. But now you're going to have to be able to do that in crucial situations, even as a third wheel, until I actually see that. That's how I fill in that blank. The Phoenix Suns getting Bradley Beal makes them right now no better than 5th in the West.
We'll see how it plays out once the rest of the roster is filled out in Phoenix. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
Breaking news regarding John Morant and the suspension.
25-game suspension to start next season. There will be conditions to his return.
This has been extraordinarily penal to Ja from a financial standpoint.
John Morant hit with that 25-game suspension by the NBA. We just celebrated Father's Day, and if you're a dad and you have kids old enough, you certainly know there are times that they just don't listen to you. You have the experience. You theoretically know what's best for them. But there are those times your kids just don't, well, you know. And that, says ESPN's Tim McMahon, is somewhat of an analogy for what's going on here.
I have heard indirectly that Ja and people close to Ja, perhaps people formerly close to Ja, have this feeling that the NBA is out to get him. The media is out to get him. And I just say, are you damn stupid? Do you not think the NBA desperately wants this ridiculously entertaining young American superstar to succeed?
Sometimes that's how it goes, right? Earlier on ESPN Radio, our Jason Fitz.
When I hear him in his camp, him being Ja, saying that they feel like people are out to get him, that makes it less likely in my mind that somebody like Draymond matters, because you got to be willing to receive that message in order for that message to do any good. And I'm not sure right now there's a lot of indication that there's a message being received.
And Ja Morant facing that 25-game suspension to start the next season. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Back to baseball. Giants, Padres. Juan Soto's swinging a big stick.
The 1-1 pitch. Soto hits it in the air, deep to left field. Conforto backing up on the track, looking up, gonna go. A home run the opposite way for Juan Soto.
That was in the first inning. In the fifth,
first pitch on the way to Juan Soto. He hits it in the air to deep left field. Conforto's back again, at the wall again, gonna go again. Second of the night for Juan Soto, and both have gone the other way.
Juan Soto sending 2 out in this one. Meanwhile, this game would go to 10 innings.
Here's the 3-1 on the way. Yaz blasts one, deep right field. It is gone into the water. A walk-off splash hit, Mike Yastrzemski.
3-run walk-off home run. KNBR with the call, 97.3 The Fan. Earlier with the Soto home runs, and the Giants beat the Padres 7-4. Giants' third win this season when trailing by 2 runs or more entering the ninth inning. They were down 4-2 entering the ninth on this one. Giants with their 8th straight win, second longest active win streak in baseball behind Cincinnati with its 9-game win streak. Giants with the 7-4 win. Total of 11 runs in that one. Meanwhile, the Mets putting up 11 on their own.
Here's the 2-1. Swinging a high fly ball, hit deep right field. Tucker going back to the track. Tucker at the wall. He looks up. This one is out of here. Lindor, 3-run home run. 4 rows back in right field. How about a 5 spot for the New York Mets? Second home run of the inning for the New York Mets. And it is 5-0 in the top of the 3rd inning.
Curveball line to left center. That's a base hit. Alonso is in. Around third, speeding to the plate with the second run is Pham. The ball bobbled in center field. Going to third, McNeil. And on at first with a 2-run single is Daniel Vogelbach. And the Mets have now made it an 11-1 lead.
11-1 will be the final. WCBS with the call. Second consecutive win in interleague play after losing 4 straight. Max Scherzer, 8 innings, gave up 1 run. 8 strikeouts, longest outing since joining the Mets last season. Diamondbacks a 9-1 win over the Brewers. Arizona 10-1 in its last 11 road games. They've won the last 6. Speaking of winning, there's a must-win on Tuesday. That's next. Sports Center all night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Tuesday, now that the Heat missed out on Bradley Beal, just how much pressure is on Pat Riley to go get Damian Lillard? Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN Radio Sports Center all night. More next.
Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like, what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
When picking a commerce platform, you have 2 choices.
Oh, you piece of...
Or...
Yeah!
I prefer... Don't you? That's the sound of selling on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Online, in person, on social media, and beyond. Why battle inferior platforms' weak tools?
You...
Lack of brand control.
That looks like...
And limited integrations.
Would have...
help to know this.
Stop leaving sales on the table. Join the millions of businesses around the world growing on Shopify and get the industry-leading tools from the best converting checkout to powerful order management features. Gain control with code-free site design and harness Shopify's limitless integrations for limitless growth. Shopify.
Less, more.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/play. That's shopify.com/play. Shopify.com/play.
With summer in full swing, now's the perfect time to head to the ballpark. Score great deals on great seats from our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Every crack of the bat, every diving catch, every heart-pounding play. Experience it live, in person, from the first pitch to the final inning. Vivid Seats has a huge selection of MLB tickets, and they're the only ticket company that rewards your purchases. For the best selection of 2023, shop now. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
We're taking you to KJ and Max, 6 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN Radio. And speaking of KJM, we had some big wins over the weekend. In L.A., Wyndham Clark captures the U.S. Open, his first major victory. He'll be a guest here this morning, 7:15 Eastern with Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Max. Sunday in Stuttgart, Francis Tiafoe wins his third career title, breaks into the top 10. ESPN's Michelle Steele.
After the match, Tiafoe said reaching the top 10 is something no one can ever take away, and he'll remember it forever. Today on Juneteenth, he joins Arthur Ashe and James Blake as the only African-American men who've cracked the top 10 in 50 years of ATP World Rankings.
To have so many people kind of waking up today and wanting to learn about African American history, and have the third African American male to get into the top 10, it's a great story. Anytime someone gets to the top 10, they basically won the lottery, because the chances of making it to the top 10 for anyone are so slim.
The odds were stacked against the 25-year-old Tiafoe, the son of immigrants from Sierra Leone. But his father, a maintenance worker at a tennis academy near Washington, D.C., gave Tiafoe access to the game as a child, and it became his passion.
Guy who grew up, my dad was a janitor in a tennis club, mom working 2 jobs, through the night. Nobody thought I'd be able to do any of these things. And everybody, had this, painted this picture about me. And it's kind of like, what are y'all going to say now?
First, I texted him to say how happy I was for him. And then he said, hey, I grew up watching you and was inspired by you. So thank you for everything you did. And I said, you know what? You're inspiring that next generation.
With respect for Rafa, Francis Tiafoe says, it's my time.
Tiafoe's best performance in a major so far was his stirring run to the semis last September at the U.S. Open. 2 weeks from now, he'll be at Wimbledon, where he reached the 4th round a year ago. I'm Michelle Steele, ESPN.
Speaking of tournaments, Tennessee remains alive in the Men's College World Series. They eliminate Stanford with their win in Omaha on Monday. Tennessee now faces LSU after the Tigers lost to the top seed Wake Forest. Tennessee, LSU in an elimination game Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's do or die for the two SEC teams. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. Let's turn now to Jim Baskell and Monday's Top Sounds.
Number 5.
Jay, the Cincinnati Reds got longtime vet Joey Votto back on Monday. He went deep and knocked in 3 in helping run the Reds' winning streak to 9 in a row and atop the NL Central. 700 WLW.
Swinging a ground ball to short, up with it De La Cruz, the play to first, and that's it. Reds win it 5-4, make it 9 straight for the Redlegs.
Number 4.
From the College World Series, top-ranked Wake Forest rallied from 2 runs down against LSU, backed by their backstop. He provided the game-winning knock in the bottom half of the 8th, but not before this stellar play in the top half. Carl Ravitch, ESPN.
Third base, feels it coming home, and he can't
his glove. Wow, the scoop is made. What a tag! Bennett Lee scooped it after Wilkin couldn't get it out of his glove. What a play by the catcher.
Number 3.
The Kansas City Royals have lost all 15 of Jordan Lyle's starts, the longest such streak to start a season. Monday, the Tigers hit him with a 5-run seventh, capped by this game-winning blow off the bat of Kerry Carpenter. 97-1 the ticket.
2-2. Fly ball, right field. Hooking by the foul pole. Gone! Kerry Carpenter. 2-out, 3-run home run. Tigers take the lead 6-4.
Number 2.
The Pirates have been outscored 36-11 and losing 4 games to the Cubs this season. But hey, some good news as top prospect Henry Davis is in the bigs. And Monday, he picked up his first big league hit. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
The payoff. Grounded and a fair ball past third. Kicks off the short fence. Henry Davis into second base. He leads off his major league career with a rip double to left field and a standing ovation for Henry Davis.
Number 1.
And for the first time since 1984, a player has 3 5-hit games in the same month. Monday, the Marlins won their 5th straight in blasting the Blue Jays, with Luis Arise raising his batting average to an even .400 after picking up 5 hits in 5 plate appearances. 940 WINZ.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Here's a swing of a line drive. Fair ball down the left field line. He's done it again. He is incredible. 2 runs are going to score. The Marlins lead 9-0. Luis Arise, for the 3rd time in 16 days, just a little over 2 weeks, has his 3rd 5-hit game.
Luis Arise now has 102 hits, first to 100 this season. Giants get their 8th straight win. Reds get their 9th straight in getting Joey Votto back, too. 8-time major champ Tom Watson wants answers about the PGA Tour's new business partnership. He says the Saudis are not taking control of a single team or hiring a player. They're taking charge of the entire sport. That'll do it for Sports Center All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Tuesday, June 20th. Chris Paul, a guest today on ESPN Radio, 1:15 Eastern Time. Tom Watson's letter, meanwhile, coming a day after Wyndham Clark's U.S. Open win. Clark, a guest this morning, 7:15 Eastern with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. They're next. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
MLB fans, when you need tickets to catch your favorite team live all season long, Ticketmaster's got them. As the world's largest ticket marketplace, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of seats available and at competitive prices, so you never have to worry about missing a game. Take yourself out to the ballpark this season and get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/MLB. That's Ticketmaster.com/MLB. This basketball season has been amazing, and Brian Windhorst has been there each week giving you all the news and scoops throughout the league. But with the season winding down, Brian Windhorst and Hoop Collective, along with Granger, are bringing you a one-of-a-kind episode highlighting the best moments of the year. From buzzer beaters to all-star performances, the podcast will cover it all. So be sure to listen to Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective, presented by Granger, wherever you get your podcasts. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Granger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know YouTube TV is more than cable for less than cable? That's right. YouTube TV has no long-term contracts or hidden fees, and it even lets you catch up to the live game with key plays. With a lineup of over 100 channels, you can watch live TV like cable. Signing up is simple. Get started in minutes. So what are you waiting for? Try it free today at youtube.com/NBA23. New users only. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
I don't know why we constantly try and find a way to tear down the Nuggets and Jokic instead of building up greatness. He's leading the NBA in the playoffs in rebounds, assists, and points. If you want to make the Mount Rushmore of players that have ever done that in history, it'd be one. It's just Jokic's head. It's one big mountain of Jokic. Like, what the hell else can somebody do?
Vince and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The Baseball Tonight podcast.
But I also see, like, off in the distance on the horizon, this monumental battle for American League MVP.
The Baseball Tonight podcast is on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you ever wish that you could get closer to the world of sports? Well, with the ESPN app, you're one app and one tap away from the action. You can get live scores and stats for your NBA team. Or follow your favorite golfer as she launches off the tee. You even get 24/7 coverage of the biggest NFL plays. So what are you waiting? Oh, sorry, I got carried away. So what are you waiting for? Download the ESPN app and get closer than ever.
Rapid Fire Water Cooler.
All right, guys, do you guys remember your high school GPA by any chance? I don't think I was even given a GPA.
I don't think I was either. Like, I was never in the running where it was going to matter to where, like, I needed to be eligible to get a golf scholarship, so I was. But what do we got? First question.
Well, I bring it up because new Ole Miss recruit Austin Simmons is just as impressive in the classroom as he is on the gridiron. He reportedly completed all of his high school requirements as a freshman. He was set to graduate in 2025, but now he's able to reclassify and be part of the 2023 class and will be in Oxford this summer.
I don't get this. So the kid basically played 1 year of high school football, and now he's reclassifying several years to be part of Ole Miss's quarterback room.
By the way, he has a 5.34 GPA.
That's just fake numbers. I mean, again, what are we doing here in the fake? I don't know what's more faker, like the 5.34 homeschool GPA. I didn't even know that that's feasible, or the fact that you can play 1 year of high school football and reclassify at that point. And even the fact that he's going to Ole Miss, they already got Spencer Sanders. They got Jackson Dart. They just ended up getting Walker Howard from LSU. There's like 19 quarterbacks in that room already, and now he's not even going to be 19 years old. Can he drive? Legitimate question.
Oh, yeah, great question. I don't know.
I don't know how old the kid is. Does he have to give somebody to drop him off to practice? He can't see an R-rated movie. There's no way.
That is so interesting that he could be going to college and not be able to drive.
He's 17.
17.
He will be 17 in the fall.
Oh,
so he
yeah.
might be 16 right now.
So I think he has to drive with an adult. Isn't that the rules in most places?
This is the best week ever. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
We really want Draymond back. What he means to this organization, this team, in terms of trying to win at the highest level, we feel like we have to have him.
You're never going to leave $28 million on the table to go out searching for a deal and be stranded at the altar here. I think it's just interesting if it's not Golden State, like, who is it?
Steve Kerr has said it on record several times now. The Warriors aren't the Warriors competing for titles moving forward without Draymond Green. I just don't believe that Draymond and the Warriors will come to a breakup.
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80 were presented by Progressive Insurance. Just Jay and me today. Morning, Jay.
Good morning, Max. I was watching the show yesterday. I had to say I sent you a text. I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I watched the whole show. From 6 a.m., like, my guy, he's going to give Juneteenth some love. Yeah. You're like, why are Key and Jay?
Why is everyone
not here?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's June. I'm at home. It's Juneteenth, man. It's Juneteenth.
Here's what's messed up. In the control room, they let me do it for an hour. And then they were like, by the way, it's Juneteenth. And the funny thing is, I'm aware of, June 19th. I didn't realize it was already the 19th.
You're looking at Amber being like,
I'm like, and I look at my, I got the date. I'm like, oh, wait. It's
Amber looks different than my two co-hosts. Very different. I wonder why they're not at work.
The white.
Well, Yates threw you a curveball. I called him and yelled at him, too. I was like, you mess it up for everybody else coming into work.
Yeah, right. Listen,
why are you here, Yates?
The white people should go in and work. Although, is that disrespectful? Everyone should take off.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. And then you finally caught on. And I was proud of you. It's like a proud parent moment.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the look on your
but
face.
It's only just been made a federal holiday, which is
last couple of years.
The way it ought to be.
2021. There you go.
So here you are, Jay, back in studio. Did you have what's the proper thing? This is white people, listen up. This is what you say, to a black person on June 19th is
Happy Juneteenth. That's
Happy Juneteenth?
Sure.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes. Celebratory day.
It is. And it ought to be. And it should have always been. I think a lot of people are resistant because you grow up a certain way, learning about it's almost like sanctified, holy days in the history of a country. And then you learn a little bit more as you get a little older and you go, oh, wait a minute. This guy was a jerk. There shouldn't be a day for him. What about this? Why isn't there a day for this? And things change over time.
Well, a lot of my friends are from different parts of, the world, right? So all over like Africa and Europe. And they're like, so wait, what's, and they look like me. They're like, wait, what's this day? I'm like, so I found myself yesterday breaking it down for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, look, man, it was a celebratory day.
Yeah, emancipation wasn't like, okay, you're good. And then
it wasn't just that easy.
Whitey wasn't like, all right, everybody, here you go.
But yet,
let's see how much longer we can ride this thing out, right?
We're all here in this great country with huge opportunities, and that's what we're here for. So
yeah, that's right.
And we're here, baby.
That's right.
Well,
it's a very different
And Father's
experience.
Day was great. Father's Day, I woke up, had pancakes like I had asked for on the show. My wife listened to the show, spent some time with the kids. Then I tried to find time to get away from the kids, but it was great. It was fun.
I said it was a very different experience for a lot of immigrant groups, right? Who had the promise of America and flee persecution. That's the story of my family. You want to come to a country where there's things like enough food to eat and stuff like that. No one's trying to kill you. And
that's a longer story.
Yeah, that's starting to and there are days like Father's Day where your family who's protected in a land of laws and all this kind of stuff, your family can gather around that you've provided for them because there's so much opportunity here and appreciate you.
My daughter's
when was the first time you think someone said Happy Father's Day to me on Father's Day? Was it right when they woke up? No, it wasn't. No. It was hours into Father's Day where the older one finally said, oh, Happy Father's Day.
Oh, it was like more like a
passive. It's Father's Day? Yeah.
Oh, no, I came down. My daughter had the pancakes ready. He said, Happy Father's Day. But see, I'd much rather have it like that later in the day because it's like, oh, I forgot. Then they feel after she said Happy Father's Day, it was over. That was it.
Yeah.
What are we doing today, Dad? Where are we going? Where are we hanging out? We're going to the pool. We're going to the beach. You playing with me? We're playing with Barbies. Like what? I'm like, wow.
Well, it's Father's Day.
Go be a father. Go be a father.
That's right.
Exactly.
So, but it was good. I wound up having a great Father's Day.
Good, man.
Yeah, when you're with your kids. See, you're still at in the stage of your life with your kids because they're so young, where it is nonstop work.
Just changing diapers. I'm cleaning up poo. I love it. I love them. It's just always
Jay,
on.
there will come a time where you change your last diaper. You won't know that it's your last diaper that you're changing, but it will be.
Now you're going to make me emotional.
I'm telling you, man, all these, as my mother used to say, that the days are long, but the years fly by. I would love to be back in that. In what you're going through right now, you wind up missing it so much. All right. Enough sentimental nonsense. Go ahead. Yeah.
I gotta say, for me, like the epitome of it though was literally having a beer outside with my kids running around, watching the U.S. Open, like an old man. Like that. I was like, go play. Like, oh yeah, come on, Clark, come on, Rory, like come on, Ricky, get in there, finish strong. Like that was the epitome of the day for me.
Let me just see some people walk around the greens,
play some golf.
It looks relaxing from here.
Yeah. Wyndham Clark won it. I was happy for him. Story about his parents. He's going to be on the show today.
Wyndham Clark coming up at 7:15.
Right. See, that's what it was all about.
By one stroke, his first major.
There you go.
Jay, while you were gone, all hell broke loose in the NBA.
Lots popped off, huh?
But the most recent is Draymond Green decided to opt out. 27 million and change, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just brushed by it. It's 27 point something.
I think it was like 27.5 million.
Yeah, there's an extra $500,000. Let's give it
its makes respect. A world of a difference.
Yeah, let's give it its respect. But 27.5 million, he opts out. So what's his market here? Here's Adrian Wojnarowski's tweet. It is up on ESPN2. Clutches Rich Paul to ESPN on Golden State's Draymond Green declining player option. Quote, we will continue to talk to Golden State and explore all options, Paul said. It was expected Green would opt out, and now he can talk with the Warriors, explore sign and trades and free agency.
I only laugh because Rich Paul, low-key genius, right?
Yeah, it ain't broke Paul, it's Rich Paul.
Like, what's happening right now is you have Draymond Green over in Europe with LeBron James, and everybody's just in a little bit of a frenzy about what that could be. Leverage, right? You're looking at the Dallas Mavericks situation. You're saying, hey, Luka, Kyrie, they're in the market for a center. They're in the market for a power forward. You got guys like Kleba. You're hearing them centered around people like Derek Lively from Duke, right? In the draft, things of that sort. Probably one of the best second center prospects behind Victor Wembanyama coming up on Thursday night here on our network on NBA Draft. Right. So you're like, well, that's a point of leverage for Draymond. The Lakers are a point of leverage for Draymond. You're going to opt out. You have Mike Dunleavy, the new general manager. Mike